In Part B of House Report Number 118-559, offered by Ms. Greene of Georgia.
Pursuant to House Resolution 1316, the gentlewoman from Georgia, Ms. Greene, and a member opposed, each will control 5 minutes. The chair recognizes the gentlewoman from Georgia.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My amendment reduces the salary of Samantha Power, the Administrator of the United States Agency for International Development, to $1. Samantha Power is a globalist left-wing activist who uses government positions to force the regime's views on the American people and the rest of the world. When Samantha Power took office in 2021, she set 3 priorities for the USAID in her new vision for global development. 1, broadening the coalition by increasing the number of diversity of voices at USAID. 2, focusing assistance more on the voices and needs of the most marginalized. And 3, making aid more responsive by better incorporating the perspectives of those on the ground. Under Samantha Power, USAID has focused on food security in response to the Ukraine war, climate change, democracy, and governance. Also, under Samantha Power, USAID has installed diversity, equity, and inclusion advisors in all bureaus, offices, and overseas missions, and created an agency-wide dashboard and DEI scorecards to track staff compliance with the administration's DEI directives. These blatantly political scorecards demand ideological conformity and should have no place in the government workplace or elsewhere. Furthermore, Samantha Power has repeatedly met with influential left-wing foundations while serving in the role. According to nearly 700 pages of internal calendar entries obtained by Fox News, Power met with George Soros' Open Society Foundation multiple times. Of course she did. She also met with Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation at least 5 times. She also held meetings with several other powerful groups like the Ford and Rockefeller Foundations. Power's intimate association with these entities exemplifies how the Biden administration, its officials, and agencies keep close contact with left-wing outside groups who help execute extreme policy initiatives. When Samantha Power served as Obama's ambassador to the United Nations, she made hundreds of requests to intelligence agencies to unmask names associated with the 2016 Trump campaign in order to support the Russia hoax narrative. For her activism, the Biden administration granted Samantha Power a permanent seat on the National Security Council, a more prominent role than the USAID administrator she has had under previous administrations. A person who abuses her position in government to meddle in democratic elections should be nowhere near public office. Instead of fulfilling her role as an administrator, Samantha Power is focused on imposing a left-wing agenda throughout the entire U.S. government and its proxies around the world. My amendment will ensure that she is held accountable and that the American people no longer have to fund her salary. Mr. Speaker, I yield the remainder of my time.
The woman from Georgia yields.
Mr. Chairman, I claim the time in opposition to this amendment.
The gentlewoman is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I rise in strong opposition to this amendment. This amendment seeks to punish administrative power likely due to differences of opinion with the amendment sponsor. Given the administrator covers all worldwide issues, it's natural that differing opinions would arise. But we cannot decide to defund the salary of the leadership of a United States government agency simply because a member of Congress does not agree with all of the positions the administration takes on issues pertaining to foreign affairs. Administrative Power is a patriot. She cares about inclusion. She wants diversity and equity and inclusion reflected as a policy in the State Department so that the State Department and so countries reflect the diversity not only of our own country but throughout the world. That means people like myself that would be part of this program. And so her distinguished career has been very distinguished, serving as our ambassador to the United Nations, to being a Pulitzer Prize-winning author. So I think we should thank Samantha Power for trying to make sure that our USAID is inclusive and that it reflects our democracy. If my colleagues want to debate the merits of our foreign policy, then let's do it. But it's beneath this body to really take on a public servant for just doing their job. I urge my colleagues to oppose this amendment, and I reserve the balance of my time.
The gentlelady has the only time.
I yield back the balance of my
The
time.
gentlewoman yields back. The question is on the amendment offered by the gentlewoman from Georgia. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it, and the amendment is agreed to.
Mr. Chairman, I request a recorded vote.
The recorded vote being requested pursuant to Clause 6 of Rule 18. Further proceedings on this amendment offered by the gentlewoman from Georgia will be postponed.